Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Macro Mondays. Bitcoin highest weekly close in history, guys. This is massive. This is always massive. The highest close in history is never bearish. I tell you guys this very, very often. And as you can see here, Bitcoin on the weekly time frame on Bybit over here closed at approximately 109.2K. The previous high was 108 or 109K flat. So that is technically a higher close. It's not much, but it'll do. So the highest close in history is extremely bullish because that means that there are buyers around, guys. And last week, there were lots of buyers around, happy to buy Bitcoin. And what's most likely to happen, in my opinion, is continuation to the upside. So what you can see here is this upsloping resistance over here. This is my next target. Personally, this is my next target on the weekly time frame. And I do see a quick-ish move up to this region over here for Bitcoin. I do think altcoins are going to see a bigger gain, but definitely looking out for this upsloping resistance over here for Bitcoin to touch. So this is the weekly time frame, guys. We know the importance of the weekly time frame, and Bitcoin's had strong bounces off this 50-week EMA over here. You can see a bounce around there, strong bounce over there, and a strong bounce over here. So this is basically the line in the sand, and I'm expecting this to tick onwards and upwards like this. And as soon as we break down from this and close multiple weeks below there, that is probably when the party is going to be over. But for now, it is very, very bullish. So what are the downside targets if we do come down? So the first target I have is this 105K zone. This 105K zone, if we do come here, will be a big buying opportunity, in my opinion. The next buy zone would be over here at about 98.5K. And then if we lose that level as well, this is the final level around that lower 90K region, 92K. I think this will be huge support. But for now, onwards and upwards, highest close in history. That is extremely bullish, guys, and I do expect continuation. Let's get straight into Bitcoin on the daily time frame because it did break out, but it hasn't closed multiple candles outside of this down sloping resistance over here. And we still are yet to clear that all important 110.7K. So we're still waiting for 110.7K to be cleared. Once this gets cleared, it is a clear shift to the upside, and I am expecting continuation to all-time highs and to those upper targets that we did speak about in the previous charts. So definitely watch out for that, guys. And as you can see, 50-day EMA coming in at that 105K region, 50% level of the recent range from the all-time highs all the way down to that 98K low that we saw at the end of June. That halfway point is coming in at 105K. So if we do come down to this level, we must expect a massive, massive, massive bounce from here, guys. This is a very bullish level. And if we do get another retest, we've already had one, I'm expecting this to be a load up phase. If we lose that, of course, we spoke about the lower targets earlier, that 92K region is looking like a good region. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below for sure. Let's get straight into Ethereum because I am in Ethereum long as well as a Solana long and in a Bitcoin long. I'm just long the blue chips at the moment. I think it's quite a volatile environment. So I've decided to just long the blue chips. So Ethereum over here getting that strong bounce off that $2,500 region over here. We of course went long on Friday when price came into that zone over there. We had our stop over there and our target is 2750. Now it was a very obvious trade in hindsight. Of course, you can see a strong bounce over there. It was a very obvious trade in my opinion because we had the 50% level from the recent range. We obviously had that high over here coming in at 2,880. You can see that high over there and that low over here coming in at 2,100. That halfway point's coming in around that 2,500 mark. So you often see an SR flip at that 2,500 mark. Also spoke about the EMAs, the important EMAs, as well as the 50% level coming in at that zone over there. So this was a massive confluence zone and a very high probability bounce zone. That is why we did take a long, of course, on Friday, and we are, just patiently going to let this trade play out. If this is the final low before that push up, this would be a great trade. 2750 TP1, 3,400 TP2, and then final TP up there. But we'll probably get a better opportunity to get into those longs. So 2750 is the target at the moment, and we are awaiting ETH to have that big move up. We're about to get that bull cross. What is the bull cross or the golden cross? Well, it's when the 50-day EMA crosses above the 200-day EMA, something like that. You can see it's about to occur here. The 50-day EMA is obviously playing catch up, and we should see if price does send to the upside, we should get a cross like that. So that's what we're looking for over there. This is the golden cross, guys. The 50-day EMA crossing above the 200-day EMA. If you get that cross, we might get one little pullback back into the zone over here. That might give you a last chance before we do get that push up. This is a very important metric in my opinion. There's lots of bots that trade the EMA crossovers. So if the 50 does cross above the 200, it will be bullish for Ethereum. And it has had a decent close, guys. Very decent close over there. Solana as well, also in the Solana long from that $148 region. We obviously saw that breakout of the declining resistance. And of course, after the breakout, we did see that retest. So you do get the retest and then off you go. That was the trading plan. We have yet to see it being sent to the upside. We do have big resistance coming in this level over here. Of course, the 200-day EMA and the 50-day EMA. If we can close above that and close above this important line of 162, we spoke about 162 being a huge resistance and support over here. So this is a key level. If we can get above that, then I am seeing, the liquidity in the zone is obviously huge, and I am seeing that $200 Solana. So this is what I'm seeing at the moment. If we can get above these key levels over here, it's not too much more above price, 7%. We can see Solana move 7% in a 4-hour candle. So it can happen at any point in time, guys. So it's just about being patient at the moment. I also have eyes on XRP. I think XRP is looking good. Obviously had this kind of breakout over here and continuous test over there. But if we just extend it like that over there, get a bit more of an accurate line, what we can see is that we could be breaking out here for XRP. This could be the breakout, guys. Definitely pay attention. If we close a few more daily candles above this region, it would be looking bullish for XRP. This is a massive region right here. You can see a lot of tops and bottoms in the zone over here. So I think if we can get above that, like $2.40, if we can get above and break above $2.40 and flip this into support, I think this would be a massive buying zone for XRP. So definitely more patience is required for the XRP trade. But this is a good trading idea, guys. And obviously, much higher targets. $2.50 will be the first target. Of course, that is the 50% level from the recent price action from the start of Jan all the way down to mid-April. That is the halfway point and is most likely going to be tested. We will have a look at Chainlink, of course. We'll have a look at Chainlink after this. Let's have a look at USDT dominance quickly, because USDT dominance is holding on at the support level over here. We spoke about, we're only going to get extremely bullish on altcoins once we break down and retest this. So that is what we're looking for. We get to break down. So we're still being patient on this trade. We could still easily break to the upside. So this is coiling up for a huge move, guys. You can see we are coiling up into this, between 4.7 and 5%. We are coiling up in the zone over here. So I'm sitting on my hands, guys. We're currently in a no trade zone, but if we can see a break of this level and a retest, this would be your bullish go signal to be getting long in the crypto market. But if we look to the south side for crypto, if we break above 5% and test that as support for USDT dominance, this will be looking quite scary for the crypto market, and we will be cutting our long positions. It's about a 50-50 at the moment, because we have formed somewhat of a bullish market structure, so we can expect a higher high. However, if we can get below, break down and get that confirmation, then I do see a move to the downside for USDT dominance and the upside for the crypto market. One thing I want to speak about quickly is going to be Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance seems like it is breaking down or wants to break down. So let's have a look here, guys. Let this load up quickly. There we go. So on the lower term timeframes, if we take this uptrend from mid-May over here, you can see that we have broken down of this uptrend. We have lost the support level over here. So, I'm sorry, we're still in an uptrend, of course. We'll be in a downtrend once we get a series of lower highs, of course. But this is your first sign and symptom that, altcoins could be coming to life. So definitely watch out. Of course, we have to be watching the key levels. There is this key pivot top over here, huge liquidity grab. Not liquidity grab, sorry. A huge candle to the upside, which came with a huge rejection as well. That was on the 3rd of Feb. I can't really remember what that event was, but it was an important event. And what you can see now is there's this upsloping support over here. So what we need to see is a break of this level over here, get below the zone over here, and start to get underneath this 50-day EMA. This will start to show a little bit of weakness in Bitcoin, and we should see altcoins outperforming Bitcoin if you can get below that 50-day EMA and see price come below the 200-day EMA and then continue downwards. But of course, massive level to get below this level over here. Let's make that a bit more accurate over there. If we can get below this level, then it will be looking pretty good for the crypto market. And if we put this on the weekly time frame, you guys do know where my levels are. I am looking for levels of 52% and 43%. Those are my targets for Bitcoin dominance. So I am seeing altcoins get a nice run at some point this year. Is it all the way down there, or are we going to get a bounce and then a move all the way to the downside there? Only time will tell, guys, but there is hope for altcoins. You got to ask yourself, the important question of, when did the previous cycles top? Well, the previous cycles topped when Bitcoin dominance was at the bottom. You can see over here, this was the top of not the last cycle, the one before that, of course, in the 2017 cycle, the 2017 bull run. Then there was the 2021 bull run that ended over here, guys. So at the lows. So we have to be honest and ask ourselves, where is this most likely going to end? Well, it's most likely going to end when we come and hit this low over here. Okay, we could get a Bitcoin dominant cycle. That's why I do have the important 50% level coming in at 52.5%. This could be the level that we see. This could be the lower target. Maybe we come here and then head up. But in my opinion, we have to at least hit 52% this cycle. And the bullish case for altcoins will be hitting that 43% for Bitcoin dominance. This is what I've planned. This is what I've planned my trades around. Of course, I'm heavily in altcoins at the moment. Expecting a move to the downside. So that's what I've got for Bitcoin dominance at the moment, guys. We're going to go into a couple of altcoin requests. Let's go into Chainlink. I haven't looked at Chainlink for a while, but it is actually looking strong. It's holding up. I do like Chainlink because on the weekly time frame, it is creating higher highs and higher lows from the bear market. So here's the bear market. We've had a higher high, higher low relative to this low, higher high relative to this high, and a higher low relative to this low. So this is in bullish market structure. So what we can expect is a higher high. So I can expect that $31 will be taken out. That is my analysis on Chainlink. If we go on the daily time frame over here, so if that's a load up, we are getting rejected off the 50-day EMA. So, there is a lot that we have to wait for Chainlink at the moment. We know there's a huge resistance over here at that $19.50. So once we get above the 50-day EMA, we can look for longs when we get above that. There is this key level over here, old tops and new bottoms. So if we can start to close weekly candles above the zone over there, it will be looking a bit more bullish for Chainlink. But I think you can most definitely wait for a trade here. There's no rush to get into this. It looks like we could be having a breakout here, but I would like to see multiple weekly candles, above that $15. If we can get above the 200-day EMA, this will give me a lot more hope. If we can see something like that, that would be giving me a lot more hope for Chainlink. But I do think there's a lot of time, guys. we can definitely be patient and just wait for the trades. We don't have to FOMO into the trades now or anything like that. One thing I want to speak about, guys, is hype. Not sure if you guys got into hype. This was obviously a stellar trade. I have taken profits from this, of course, all-time highs. Got to take some profits at all-time highs. But this chart's looking really bullish, guys. We've obviously seen a massive bounce off the 50-day EMA, and this is very bullish. This is most likely going to be one of the market leaders this cycle. Let's go into the traditional markets, because we always do that on Macro Mondays. DXY playing ball, of course, being somewhat oversold at the moment and having a little bit of a bullish divergence over here. So we could see the dollar outperforming some of the other currencies, such as the euro, Canadian dollar, your South African rand, whatever you want to compare the dollar to. We can be seeing a strengthened dollar. I do see a move up for the dollar here. Will it affect assets? I'm not sure, but we could come up to that 100 mark before getting the next leg down. So this is what I am looking for. Not bullish on the dollar long term, but I am bullish on assets priced against the dollar, of course. We have a quick question over here. What other alts are you in, not including the... Okay, so, I mean, my major holdings at the moment, of course, we're talking about spot over here, guys. We're talking about spot, very important. So my big holdings for my spot portfolio is going to be Ethereum, it's going to be Solana, it's going to be Casper. I am in a little bit of Altcoin. Big in Ondo, guys. I'm huge in Ondo. Of course, RWA as a narrative, you know, this is one of the good bets. I am huge on Sui, of course. Got a bit of hype. So those are my like top 4, top 5, top 6. Those tokens over there, those would be my main holdings. Let's get back to the TradFi. So we could see a move to 100 before the next leg down. This next leg down could be, the potential top of the stock markets coming to the zone over here. I'm going to be very cautious when the dollar comes to here on crypto, on stocks, on everything. I think the risk could come completely off the table if we do hit that $90 region for the DXY. Going into the S&P 500, we spoke about this level over here. We could see a retracement to that 6,166 zone over here. If it happens, it happens. But there's nothing bearish about all-time highs, guys. So this is most likely going to move to the upside. We have spoken about this, guys. We spoke about the COVID dip, and what happened after the COVID dip was just straight up like that, big grind to the upside. So what we could see after the V-shaped recovery, look at the V-shaped recovery, V-shape, off we go. So V-shape, and then off we go to the upside. Very bullish, guys. If we have a look at the NASDAQ, very similar. I do target 30K for the NASDAQ, something like that. When will it happen? I'm not sure. Will it happen next year? Maybe, most likely, but I am bullish on the NASDAQ. And of course, when the NASDAQ pumps to 3,000, you do expect crypto to get a bid, guys. That means it's risk on for the whole market and everything goes up. Okay, everything goes up. Blow off top. We are looking for a blow off top, guys. Blow off top has happened before, so we don't see why it shouldn't happen again. If you look years ago on the weekly time frame, might not be on the futures. Let's go on to the normal NASDAQ. What happened over here, guys, was a blow off top. So this could happen again. In my opinion, this is going to happen again. Price action like that, straight up. And if you look at the shape, it does look quite similar. Initial top over there, grind, huge blow off. So I do think that we're going to get a big blow off up to that 30K, something like that. And it will look parabolic, guys, in my opinion. Something like that. Definitely game on. Definitely game on. So look at gold quickly. Do you think the top for gold is in, personally? Can we see higher levels? We could, but I don't think it's a great buy. I think it's extremely expensive at the moment. It is still in this parabola. I drew this parabola ages ago, months ago. I drew this parabola, and we have just been following this parabola. So I do see a potential breakdown, and we could see some funds, going into the stocks, and that blow of top does happen. Okay, guys, not too much to report on. We can have a look at the Forex Factory quick. FOMC minutes on Tuesday, unemployment claims on Wednesday and Thursday. Not too much happening at the moment in terms of news events. Of course, mid-July, we do have the CPI. So I think we could see, trend continuation to the upside. I do see another green week. I do think we'll be green this week. Of course, Monday pullback expected after a Sunday pump for Bitcoin. So yeah, I do see continuation, guys. I do see, a move into the CPI. Are we just going to be sideways, or are we going to have a bit of uptrend? I'm not sure, guys. Let's wait and see. I think this week's most likely going to be boring, maybe a little bit of volatility over there, but I do think we're going to get the majority of the volatility next week. So we could be in for a boring week, which means, can we get some scalps? Maybe. But, being a swing trader, I'm going to sit back and relax and, of course, have a look at the charts, but not be digging too deep. If we do get that breakout, then we can be looking into altcoins, guys. But I haven't mentioned the trades. I am bullish, guys, bullish for the rest of the year. Huge, huge, huge next 9 months, in my opinion. And, of course, if you guys are keen to make some gains, definitely hit the subscribe button and like the channel and follow along, because we are going to crush the rest of the year, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching and coming through, and we'll see you guys later this week. Cheers for now.